Hello, my friends. My name is Carlos Gutterres, and I'm here to welcome you to this episode of Spiritual Science. I'm here to share with you my journey researching, practicing, and investigate this amazing dimension we call the spiritual dimension. I have been researching and practicing and studying this for 50 years. And I found amazing things that I really am glad to share with you. On the first episode of this series, I present you the mysteries of nature, how the nature express itself and allow us to express ourselves in this manifested dimension. Today, I want to talk more about the creation, different myths and stories of creation. You know, all cultures, religions, and civilizations, they develop their own explanations about the creation. And they are different, but they have connections. We can find many different stories about how the universe was created and how human being was created, but all the myths, all the stories have some common elements. For example, the tradition that came from Egypt, they mentioned that before the creation, the creator was asleep in the middle of the chaos. And in the moment he pronounced his own name, Sephirah, or simply Ra, the creation process began. First organizing the chaos and then expanding this organization to build the universe. In the tradition that came from India, we have something similar. In that tradition, they mentioned that before the creation, Vishnu was asleep in the middle of the chaotic ocean. And in some moment from his belly button appears a lotus plant that grows and expands, and the moment the flower of lotus opens, inside there was Brahma. And in the moment Brahma exhaled, he manifests the dreams of Vishnu, because during the period Vishnu was asleep, he was dreaming about the universe. In our Western culture, Christian culture, you have in the Bible written, in the beginning, the Word. So it's similar from the history that came from Egypt, because the beginning happens when the Creator pronounces his own name. And it's very important to understand that when you talk about the Creator existed before the creation. Because a being who is eternal has no beginning and no end. So what have a beginning is the creation, but the Creator was there before the creation. Well, when you study spiritual science, we used to tell that in the middle of the chaos, of unconsciousness. The creation happens when the Creator awakens. And the awakening of the creation was expressed by the light of consciousness. The light of consciousness that makes the universe appears. So the light of consciousness illuminates the chaos. And where this light touch, the chaos receive the blessing of consciousness, because the chaos is the unconscious elements all over the universe. So according to this myth, the moment that the Creator awake, the light of consciousness expand and touch all the chaos around itself and brought consciousness. We may relate the awakening of the Creator with the history of the Big Bang, the primordial explosion that creates the universe. So we may say the light of Creator is the light produced by the Big Bang. And this light touching the chaotic matter, we may say that this light touch the dark matter existing all over the universe and transform dark matter and conscious matter, illuminate matter, represented by the hydrogen atoms. You know, in the history of creation of the universe, in the very beginning, we have just one element, hydrogen. And the atoms of hydrogen attracted themselves, and more atoms getting closer and closer, and they create something called gravity. And the gravity attract more and more atoms, and sometimes you have some amount of these atoms that they have a so strong attraction that the pressure fuse the hydrogen atoms, creating the helium atoms. And this is the very beginning of the first stars. The nucleus of the first star happens this transformation, the fusion of hydrogen and helium, producing more light, more energy, expanding light and energy. So we can say metaphorically that the light of consciousness produced this movement. And this movement produced more light and physical light, you know, the light of the stars, the light of the suns all over the universe. But you know, the light of consciousness that create the entire universe, billions of galaxies, the scientists consider we have on this universe, this light did not touch all the unconscious matter, all the dark matter. Because in the moment the chaos understood that the light of consciousness are transforming chaos in consciousness, this ocean of unconsciousness decided to move far, far from this light, because the ocean of unconscious matter don't want to be changed by the light of consciousness. The ocean, this ocean is called the ocean of original virginal matter, pure and dark matter. And this ocean believes that to be touched by the light of consciousness is something bad, because they want to preserve their purity, the pure unconsciousness. But the Creator have just one law, The law of creator is unity. And so the creator wants to bring everything to the unity. And the moment the ocean of original virginal matter refused to be connected to the essence of creator, the creator used a different approach. He used the Akashic light, the light that for the unconsciousness dimension is invisible. So using the Akashic light, the creator touched the surface of the ocean of original virginal matter. And this area touched by the light of consciousness awoke and becomes the Mother Nature. Of course, the major part of this unconsciousness ocean rejects the area touched by the light of consciousness. So this part of the ocean touched by the consciousness, this part of the ocean that got consciousness was separated by the ocean, becoming the Mother Nature. And the Mother Nature was pregnant with the manifestation of light, manifestation of life. So this is the metaphoric history of creation, according the spiritual point of view. Because in the universe, light represents awakening, light represents consciousness. But a huge part of the universe was not awake for consciousness. So this is the beginning of creation, is the light of the creator touching the unconscious ocean of matter to bring more consciousness, to awake part of this ocean. And this process continues. And more parts of the unconscious ocean are awakening for the light. So in our personal history, the history of human being, the Mother Nature was that part of the matter touched by the light of consciousness. Mother Nature generates our spiritual consciousness, our spirit essence, or simply our spirit. And because we are made by the light of consciousness, we can ascend to the spiritual dimension. And we invite the mother to follow us. But the mother decided not to go because in the moment of our creation, something else was created. Our twin, and our twin is our shadow self. So the shadow self was not still awakened. That's the reason it's represented by a reversal image and dark image. And so the mother did not want to ascend because she had to left one of his son, the shadow or son, here in the material dimension. So the destination of all beings, with consciousness is to reach the spiritual dimension. This is our destiny. But, we have a job. We have to help the Mother Nature to ascend too. But because she refused to ascend until the twin ascends, not only our consciousness, but our shadow self ascends, it's up to us to work to illuminate our twin brother. And with this job, we can not only help another part of unconscious be illuminated, but we can help the expression of Mother Nature ascends too. So some spiritual schools, they suggest that you have to kill our shadow self. Consider the shadow self our enemy. But it's not true. This is a beautiful love story. We have the right to ascend, but we are here to help our shadow get enough consciousness to ascend to. And when both of us ascends to the spiritual dimension, the mother will follow us. How can we bring consciousness to our shadow self? It's very simple, just need to work in ourselves, to bring more consciousness to ourselves, to understand deeply the spiritual and the manifested universe. And another thing, very simple thing, focus to become a better version of ourselves every single day. So in the moment we are growing spiritually, automatically the energy that expands for our own beings will contaminate, in a good sense, the shadow self that little by little will become more open to receive this energy, and little by little is open to awake for the consciousness of the spiritual dimension. So in the moment our shadow was totally awake, our mother agreed to ascend, because we are just applying the law of the Creator. The law of the Creator is unity. So the Creator wants everything, everybody, all the elements of the universe ascends to the unity of the spiritual dimension. The light of the spiritual consciousness attracts all beings for the unity of the Creator. So now, connecting this story, what we present in the first chapter of this series, the first episode, it was mentioned that the nature expresses itself in 7 planes or 7 dimensions. And everything manifested have a body of expression on each one of those 7 dimensions. So, for example, if we are here, incarnate on this universe, we have an expression, or if you prefer, a body expressing itself in the physical dimension, this body is expressed in physical dimension. I have another body expressed in the emotional dimension, and another one expressed in the mental dimension. But we have more, another body in the psychic dimension, one in the intelligence dimension, another in the wisdom dimension, and finally, one body expressed in divine dimension. But we need to awake those bodies. And who will do this? Our consciousness. We may call consciousness or spirit. Our spirits have the power and the right to travel through all the 7 dimensions, to awake all these 7 bodies, to understand nature, to understand the universe, and to understand our own purpose. So now, with the information I brought on this episode, I can tell you something more specific about the 7 dimensions of nature. Those dimensions, consider all the 7, 4 dimensions are emanated by the Mother Nature. So the Mother Nature offers us to manifest the dimensions physical, emotional, mental, and psychic. And the light of a spirit, or if we prefer, the Father or the Creator, offers the 3 more subtle dimensions, the intelligence, wisdom, and divine dimensions. We have more. Consider the 4 dimensions offered by the Mother Nature. 3 of those dimensions are ephemeral, but one lasts forever. So here, the dimension we call psychic is a bridge between matter and spirit. And this dimension is a gift we receive from the Mother. And when we are here in the incarnation, we are expressed through the 7 dimensions. But when we are not in the physical incarnation, it's because the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body dissolved, but the psychic one stays, because this one is eternal. When we reincarnate, we receive a new physical body, a new emotional body, a new mental body. But this is the link with our divine essence. So on the next episode, I will talk more about all those dimensions and how our consciousness, or how our spirit can move through all the more subtle dimensions. But this is for our next episode. This journey, because we are talking about the spiritual journey, this journey is something really amazed, and I'm really glad to share with all of you. But I need to bring many different elements, like I'm doing the previous chapters and this one, to allow us to see the big picture of how beautiful and how amazing is this journey. So thank you for your presence here. Thank you to be with me. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye. See you.